Hi, my name is Daniel, and I am from Group 7, K18. So, for the math main project, my group has chosen to do the correlation and regression analysis between the number of times students went outside of the UPM campus and the average pocket money received monthly. So, for the introduction, we have chosen to conduct the study in between the students of Foundation in Agricultural Science of UPM, which consists of students from all around Malaysia, from different backgrounds. Some of the students have never been to Selangor or Kuala Lumpur, so they would love to enjoy these new places. So the places they go and the number of times they really go out would depend on the average pocket money received monthly. So for the objectives, we would love to investigate the relationship between the average pocket money received monthly and the number of times the students go out. Secondly, is to predict the number of times students go out depending on the average pocket money received. And thirdly, is to predict the reasons students would go out and spend the money on. So moving on to the methodology. So the method to collect the data, we collected the data by doing online surveys via Google survey forms. These forms was blasted on the students' messaging medium, such as WhatsApp and Telegram. So in the study, the independent variable, which is the number of times students went outside of UPM, and the dependent variable is the average pocket money received monthly. So if the correlation is nice between both variables, we would go for regression. So for the findings, what we have here is a graph, which it is actually a graph of the number of times going out of the campus versus the average pocket money received. So as you can see on the x-axis is the number of times they go out, and on the y-axis is the average pocket money received. So as the number of times they go out increases, the average pocket money would increase. So based on the analysis, the value of the covariance would be 206.59, which hence shows a positive covariance with a value of R, which is 0.518. It shows a strong positive relationships. And the equation of regression line is y equals to 49.82x plus 236.58. And what we have here is a pie chart, which shows the primary transportation they use to go out of the campus. And we have a bar chart that shows the places students would go out usually. Moving on is the conclusion. So firstly, we conclude that the number of times students would go outside of the campus is directly proportional to the average pocket money received monthly. Secondly, is that we conclude that students would usually go out mostly twice a month in order to save the money. We also identified that like 60.2% of students would go out using e-hailing, which is Grab or taxi services. And fourth, we concluded that most students, which is like 73.8%, mostly spend on F&B when they go out. For recommendations, we would advise students to use public transport mostly when going out, since it causes less money. Students are also advised to spend their money wisely for things that benefits them and not waste it. And thirdly, university itself, UPM should provide necessary needs and entertainment for students inside of UPM to help them reduce expenses and entertain them. So for the analysis, we had from our results, we managed to calculate the covariance, the Pearson's product movement coefficient, R, and we came out with a simple linear regression. So we took data from 103 respondents based on the Google form. So on the left here, we have the calculation for the covariance. So from this variance, we could say that the data we collected shows a positive covariance. And then over here, we have the Pearson's product moment R. So the value of R is 0.518251, shows a strong positive relationship exists between the number of times students go out and the average pocket money received. So when the number of times students went outside of campus increases, the average pocket money would also increase, vice versa. And then we have the line of best fit or the estimated regression model. So from our calculation, we got the equation of y equals to 2.36.5807 plus 49.8206 And lastly, moving on is the questionnaire responses. So we actually listed 6 questions. Firstly is the gender. So 78.6% respondent were female, while 21.4% were males. And then we asked the average of time they go out of UPM. So we could see the majority of students go out at least 25 of them at least goes out twice per month, and the least being 9 times. And then we have the primary transportation going out of UPM. So majority, which is 60.2%, would use e-hailing such as Grab and taxi. And the least, the most smallest number would go by foot and by bus. And then places they would mostly go out spending outside of the campus. So a majority, 63 out of the 103 respondents would spend their time in Putrajaya, mostly due to the fact that it's near IOI City Mall. And the most least would spend their time in Sepang, where the airport is located. And then the average pocket money received per month. So the data is very spread out, but 30.1%, which is the majority, received around 401 to 600 ringgit per month, with the least getting more than 1,000 ringgit per month. And then things that the students would mostly spend on when they're outside of the campus. So a majority, which is 73.8%, would spend on F&B, which is food and beverages, and the most least amount of respondent would spend on study appliances. And that concludes my presentation of our math mini project. So thank you very much.